David Gavrilescu is here with us, Romanian Grandmaster. We are so happy to have you here. 21 years old, really young, really good results. Just finished game with Ruslan Ponomariov, ended in a draw.
Yeah.
So tell us more.
David,
thank you for the invitation. Firstly, yes, I had a pretty short game today, but not an easy game, I would say. So yeah, from the beginning, it was an Italian, nothing very spectacular, but okay, he played this bishop e7, and from my previous game in this tournament against Radek Wojtaszek, I played this short castle d6 rook e1. So I tried something differently for this game and played this knight c3 line, a bit of a different approach. I will not play a4 as I play with a3, and here, okay, black has a lot of setups, white also, but he tried, let's say, a pretty solid move, but it makes a lot of sense. I didn't play h3 till now, so he played bishop g4. This is quite a trendy line. I think Jordan Van Forest played it in Tata Steel against VE. So here h3 is how the line goes, takes. So black gave up the bishop pair, but now his center will move very fast as he played c6. D5 will follow very shortly. But okay, I'll finish my development with castles. Knight e6 is pretty precise to not allow f4 ideas or even bishop g5, so this was the right move order. Here I continued with bishop a2, just prophylactic against d5 ideas. He castled, and now he wants to push d5, so I need to get the setup, so I played rook e1. I will stop d5 for a moment, but after queen c7 he prepares rook d8, d5, so he has a pretty easy game. I played knight e2, this let's say Italian specific maneuver to get the knight to g3, although I don't have my f3 knight, d5, knight g3. Now from what I remember that I checked, this rook a d8 is maybe most precise. Okay, black has a lot of moves, but rook a d8 to not allow my bishop e3 or c3 ideas. So, but he played g6, which is also very natural and very normal, stops any knight f5 plans. Now I wasn't quite sure, so I spent some time. Maybe c3 was a bit more precise, but I went for this bishop e3. The point is after rook d8, which threatens my e4 pawn due to the pin. So I need to do something about that. So I played this queen f3. So bishop e3 was meant to protect against knight d4, because queen f3 would have been met with knight d4 as it happened previously in the game. So queen f3. Now I think he has a lot of moves, also h5 ideas. I was not quite sure. He played this rook f8, which is quite normal. Rook a d1, king g7, and here after c3 I spent some time and I offered a draw. I'm not quite sure what my idea should be, so black will probably play h5, which is quite normal, and I wasn't sure how to proceed in this position. h4 will come, maybe some bishop c1, but okay, black is still very solid, so I think the position is quite balanced, and of course Ponomariov is such a strong player, like former world champion, so yeah, it was a bit of a question, like, okay, does he want to continue, what was the idea, so, but he accepted the draw, and yeah, we live to fight tomorrow.
Everybody happy.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, David, sometimes you don't know, on a good day Ruslan can play on his top level as he was before, 27, 60.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. You know that he's capable of playing 27, 50 or 2800. So of course you take this into
consideration.
Yeah. So of course, being white, you're a bit more stable, but you had some interesting games also. Mm-hmm. For example, versus Attila Kuru. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can touch that one a bit.
Yeah, sure. I had better results with black this tournament, so yeah, maybe
you could touch some points.
Okay, so he's a very promising junior. I think he's 13 or 14, so it was not an easy game at all. Here he played also. I saw that okay, I had the free day to prepare again for this game, and he played against Bogdan Deck, this 2 knight c3. But I wasn't quite sure what he'll do against, let's say, this d6. He had only games against e6 or knight c6. So in his database, he only had like knight f3 and transposing to normal, let's say, open Sicilian.
Have you found? Sorry for interrupting. Have you found his chess.com profile or something? So you were checking everything.
Yeah, I was checking his games, but he never played this knight c3 d4. So I actually checked this line in the free day. I checked this line a bit, but
you see,
like,
free day.
Yeah, it helps with the preparation. But during the game, like 1.5 days later, I was confusing all the lines. So I spent a lot of time in the opening, although I knew I prepared it.
Too long period to prepare.
Yeah, it's actually maybe not not great to check everything, because you can confuse the lines. Yeah, so he went for this d4, queen takes d4, knight c6, queen d2, g6. Yeah, this is some normal.
Magnus Carlsen line, or
he's one of the first who played it. It was quite trendy a few years ago, but still a good line. I went for this bishop h6 to provoke f4, knight f6, bishop b2 is quite normal. Short castle, yeah, here I was thinking for some time because I had also some other ideas, but I went for this very typical e5, g3, rook e8. Kind of a waiting move, but also attacking e4. He was still for sure on his prep because he was playing really fast. Here with king b1 is threatening d6 pawn because he went out of the pin of the bishop on h6. So I played knight d4, knight g2 followed. Here I have to play bishop g4. Of course, I knew the idea. Knight takes d4, and here I knew that there's two different approaches. Also e4 is a move, queen takes d4, bishop g7 is necessary. I mean, not necessary, but maybe precise. And here there are more approaches. Also this bishop c4, from what I remember, this is a pretty nice line that will probably end up in a draw after knight f6 or knight g5. I knew something like this can happen, and maybe a draw, queen takes f6. I don't know how that endgame is, maybe a bit better for black. So, but I knew this type of idea, so I went for this. Okay, maybe objectively slightly inferior bishop takes d1, but okay, I think it's not that bad. So I'll now win an exchange. Probably knight takes d1 was a bit more precise. And here I have an exchange for a pawn, but he has this bishop pair, nice center, so it's a bit of a new fight. So yeah, this could have happened. I said, okay, maybe white is slightly better, but there is some fight left. So I chose this line. He took by queen, e4, queen d4, bishop g7, and here, it's now I think there are no more forced draws, so it's just a playable position. I'm threatening with this on the long diagonal, some knight takes c4 stuff, so he probably should move his queen. I think queen d3 was more precise, but he chose queen b4, which looks pretty good. But after some time, I knew the idea, but I had to calculate here. I spent maybe more than I should have with this a5 move. The point is, I'm kicking his queen and trying to win the e4 pawn. If queen takes b7, rook b8, he needs to, he should probably try to protect his pawn on e4, but now rook b6, and wherever he goes on the fourth rank, rook b4 will join and e4 will hang, so he didn't take my pawn. He played queen a4, but now I have this knight d7, and I'm trying knight c5 and bishop takes c3, trying to push on e4 again. He played this queen b5, he prepared this, and here I spent a lot of time and I messed it up a bit, so now we're making some inaccuracies. Here probably the best was rook c8, but I was quite a bit afraid of this bishop h3. I have to take on c3, and now, let's say queen takes d7. I was not quite sure how this position is after some exchanges, so probably very precise is this queen c7, and I have some edge because now we're exchanging queens, and this endgame my rook is better than his bishop and pawn, but it was not quite easy to calculate, and also I had some trouble evaluating bishop d7, rook c5, but yeah, this endgame I'm very fast with queen f2, g2, and I'll win the h pawn, and then I should be winning. So here, although I was spending a lot of time, I kind of messed it up, and I played this knight c5, and after e5 is already very tricky. Now his weak pawn is no longer on the e4 square, so now I can also be in trouble. I played knight e6, now I'm threatening the e pawn, bishop c4 was good by him, takes, also here f takes c5, okay, now it's very complicated position. He started with rook d1, queen c7, knight d5, queen c6, fe5, and yeah, here we get this weird looking type of blockade. I still have a bit of advantage materially, but his bishop pair and his space surely compensate this, so I was maybe even a bit worse, but as we'll see, that the time will also be a factor in this game. So I exchanged queens and rook e d8. Now I want some knight c7, so he retreated his bishop, king h8. Not a bad move, maybe not the best, but I just wanted to get out of this knight e7 checks and everything. He played c4, which is very normal. Rook e8. Yeah, I don't really have any ideas other than maybe attack this e5 pawn. So rook e8 happened. Rook f1. He attacked my f7. Now king g8. I can come back because knight e7 is no longer. Yeah, he cannot play bishop b5 with that attacking my rook, and then knight e7 was pretty annoying. He played bishop c3, and now we are trying to. Now we are getting in this time trouble. Here some knight c5 or knight g5 was possible, but I felt like this should be very close to a draw, so I tried to keep the pieces. Maybe not so great objectively, but I was trying to get some fight. Yeah, here this rook c5 is pretty strange. I was just trying to not allow his knight to move and protect e5, but okay, already in time trouble. It was not great. a4 stops b5. Here b6, okay, some tactics, also trying to consolidate there. Rook e1, rook b8, what to do? I have to protect my pawn now because he protected e5. So yeah, here I was, we are on our last minute, so just blazing some moves, but here g4 was a bit imprecise by him because I got some play now. The point is with the bishop on g4, with the bishop on f3 he had some knight e7, knight c6 business, and also then bishop d4 traps my rook, so I get some tempest here. Knight f4, he's threatening knight d3 to, yeah, maybe trap my rook, so rook d8 taking the open file, king c2, bishop h6, and here in time trouble, yeah, I had to go for this this line and maybe b4, but very hard to see with this low time. We're just blitzing some moves. He played this knight e2, which got me this chance which I saw but misevaluated with knight a6. I thought after knight g3, knight b4, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight e4 will be very annoying, but I just ignore. I don't fall for this rook e5, rook e5, knight f6 trap, so I would have been better with rook c6, but I chose knight e6 with my last seconds. Bishop f3 is a mistake by him. He should have taken my knight, and then this probably is a bit of a fortress. I cannot really go anywhere, so bishop f3, but now he's not in time to consolidate. He was only having a few seconds, so bishop g7, I'm threatening the e5 pawn. If he moves his knight, protect e5, then knight d4, and if I get rid of one of his pieces, then I'll be fine. He played bishop d5, knight c7, knight f4, who consolidates d5, but after knight h6, now we get to move 40, and he cannot no longer consolidate. I'm threatening the knight. If the knight moves, d5 will hang, so here are a bit some tactics, but it seems like it works out for me, and we get to time control, and yeah, he continued, but now it's pretty straightforward because I win a pawn, and now just exchange some pieces. Some technique still needed, but it was pretty straightforward here. now the point is I double on the 4th rank, he can no longer move his knight, and I activate my queen, my king, and if he just stays, this pawn end game is pretty. Yeah, this pawn end game is very easily won. So he just played d6, and after rook c4.
You were like in severe time trouble for how many moves? For like 15 moves?
For
yeah,
like
that was not great. Yeah, because wait.
Yeah, around here somewhere, rook c8.
Yeah, from after rook c5. So this is move 29 with 1 minute. Yeah, this is not
I
easy.
just wanted to say sometimes you also need to be a bit lucky because you don't have a control and you're trying your best, but sometimes you need some luck.
A bit of chance there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You are. I will like freshly crowned champion of the Romania. Is this your first title?
Yeah, it's my first title and a huge honor, and I'm really glad that it happened. I was quite close. Like last few years, I got 6th in 2021, 4th in 2022, then 2nd in 2023, 3rd in 2024, and now finally I won the title. So.
And it was like a high stake because you got now a wild card for Warsaw Grand Prix.
Yes, it's absolutely great to get this chance of meeting these top players. In the Grand Chess Tour. I'm looking forward for that tournament.
So who is like the highest rated player you ever played?
In classical or
classical, but even rapid and blitzball.
Classical I played against Hikaru in Gibraltar 2019, but it was when his rating was a bit lower. But I played also in the 2022 Grand Chess Tour in Warsaw, so there I played against Fabiano Caruana, so Wesley. So
so you already have some experience.
Yeah, I have some experience, but it's great now. Let's say in that tournament I just found out last minute, so now it's great that I have some time to prepare, and it will be a great experience.
Regarding your previous European Championship participation, how is in Petrovac and things like that? We have your result there. You were stable, but it's not easy to qualify, right?
Yeah. I finished with +2. I lost the 9th round against Etienne Bacro. Let's say probably my biggest chance to fight for something was in 7th round. After the day off, I played against another young Turkish guy, against Yagiz Erdogmus, and I had a winning position. So that was, let's say, if that would have gone my way, I had something to fight for.
If I'm not mistaken, that loss versus Bacro was something where you were stuck on the king side, some queen, was it?
Firstly,
it looked like completely equal, or was it?
Yeah, it was, let's say after the opening I was a bit worse, and then I had this pawn down with major pieces, so it was queen 2 rooks against queen 2 rooks, and he had the double f pawns and gh, I have fgh. And then on move 40, it was some mess in time trouble. On move 40 I got the g against g and f pawns, and that's theoretically you draw, but he tricked me, and my defense was not great at all. So that's the end game that I lost there.
Okay, so still many rounds left. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Good luck in your next rounds.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.